Hi, welcome. I'm Linus Lai, the Vice President for Software and Services at IDC. The unprecedented disruption over the last couple of years have altered the landscape of IT forever. We've seen tremendous amounts of movement of data and applications to the cloud, and in IDC's opinion, over the next 2 years, 63% of enterprises would have moved so much applications and data to the cloud with high interoperability between them. With me today, I've got Ben Hickey from F5. Welcome, Ben.
Hi, Linus.
Ben, what are your thoughts on this? Why have we moved and why have we decided on multiple clouds?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question, Linus, especially if we look back a little bit further. And you can think over the last 10 years, what's really happened is infrastructure as a service has changed from the simplistic dimensions of compute, storage, and networking, these commoditized kind of functions, to be much more specialized. And today, when I speak to CIOs and other business leaders, I hear things like preference for turnkey business applications coming out of one cloud provider, big data and AI from another cloud provider, and then developer favorites for homegrown applications and DIY approaches out of another cloud provider. And so what this really tells us is that the CIOs and the business leaders really can anticipate that they're going to have multiple clouds interworking together. And I think there was one stat in your research that really drew this out for me, where from 9% today to almost 40% in 2 years' time, business leaders see a huge increase in the application interdependencies. And that's really coming from the fact that they can see their applications now connected across these different environments.
Well, thanks, Ben. And do you think, we have what it takes to connect these multiple clouds today?
Well, I think that when we are running in multiple cloud environments, we have to acknowledge it's a more complex environment. And one of the key things to think about for a business leader is, time to market. How quickly can I launch new services or take advantage of new cloud specializations? The last thing a CIO would really want to go back to his business peers and say is when a new cloud specialization comes out that people ask for is that it's going to take them 6 to 12 months to integrate and make it available. So thinking about how quickly can we spin up services in a cloud environment and how can we connect them across clouds is an important dimension. And that comes down to the platforms and the tools that you choose that can operate across multiple environments.
It seems to be swings and roundabouts. It used to be centralized IT and now we're moving out back to the edge again. Although we're now settling on a common cloud-centric architecture, right? So what do you think about this, Ben? Where will we go next?
Well, I think that's another great observation. And if you go back almost to the dawn of IT, we've had this pendulum swinging between centralized and distributed. And so it's quite natural over the last sort of 15 years that there's been a huge centralization of applications and functions into the public cloud. Right now, we'll see a level of distribution, and so those key functions that make sense to run closer to end users or closer to data is really going to be another wave at the moment. And when enterprises think about this, while we have multi-cloud in the centralized, you can just think how many different options you're going to have at the edge. And so how do you make decisions that are of a platform nature that can allow you to abstract some of those differences to give you the flexibility from what you might be able to choose at the edge today could quite possibly be different in a couple of years' time. So being able to standardize or pick a platform that gives you that flexibility can be a huge business advantage.
Yes. I've heard of a major health insurer here in Australia, for example, moving a tremendous amounts of data into the cloud so that they could work on it remotely and collaboratively over a vast, diverse geographical span as well. And we've got other use cases as well, where we've got data and applications closer to where the user experiences need to happen, right?
That's right, and I think that more of these edge needs are going to come up as just part of that natural shift to we've centralized a lot of functions, and now the edge, those that are going to perform better or deliver business flexibility are going to become more obvious.
Yeah, and we've also seen the rise of performance, right, as a major criteria when it comes to delivering some of these user experiences at the edge. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think performance is always an important dimension, and performance can sort of cut across many different factors. And so I think that being able to move workload processing to the edge can be one really important way to handle things like big data and IoT. And so what you start to have are AI-based architectures where you leverage centralized cloud for things like large data sets and model learning. But then you push out the AI heuristics to the edge to be able to process data in a more disaggregated fashion with higher performance. And so this is a very common shift that we're seeing for some edge applications right now.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Ben. And it's really nice having to chat with you today.
Thank you, Linus. It's been great talking to you today about multi-cloud and issues such as time to market and performance, and how those can be addressed with tools and platforms that span those different cloud environments.
Well, thank you, Ben, for being here with us today. I'm sure you got some great insights from our conversation today on running and operating a digital distributed enterprise.